Well, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to SHO. My name is Chris Mayer. We got a great show for you this week. Tom and Kelly from Sunshine Committee are here. I got some fun stuff to show off, which will be a good time. Before we kick things off, just a couple quick announcements. First up, of course, you can follow Boston Indies on Twitter at Boston Indies and on our meetup page at meetup.com/BostonGameDev. I'm going to click this button. Is this going to work? Yes, the links are in the chat. Check it out. Isn't that cool? If anyone has announcements about cool stuff that's going on in the area that you want to hype up, drop it in the chat. I'll read it out. Otherwise, I think I just have one this week, which is that Boston Postmortem is going to be running show and tell night, which is kind of what we're doing instead of demo nights. While we obviously can't go out and play people's games, that's going to be on September 9th. You can find out the information about that at the meetup page that I linked. Or right there. Cool. One other thing that I wanted to throw out there is there's a rally in Dorchester called the Power to the People, which is an event that's kind of about hyping up black-owned businesses in the Boston area. So that's going to be Saturday, I think at like noon. You can check that out. Get out there, support the community, and I have a link for that too. Bam, check that out. Also, it's primary season. Early voting is still going on. Tomorrow, I think, is the last day for early voting, and you probably want to do that just so you can, keep the polling places a little quieter on the 2nd. So, figure out where you go vote. It varies by ward or town or whatever. So you're gonna have to look it up yourself. That's it for me. But before we kick off the show, just wanted to show off a little tech that we built over here. Over here, we have our lovely audience. Wow. Just amazing. Look at them, hanging out. Can get nice and close. I also added controller controls. We can just look at this beautiful gentleman. Let's get real close to his face. Amazing. Oh, there we go. Whoa, wow. Now, let's I've also added this lovely bot in the chat, bot show. So if you could just do a exclamation point clap for me. Oh. Yeah, look at that. Amazing. You can also dance. Man, just amazing. I love to see it. I was a little worried that if we did like 20 of these at once, it was going to break everything. But apparently not. So throughout the show, that will be visible behind our guests. If that gets way too annoying, I'll turn it off. But yeah, very, very pleased with how that came out. I think actually that's the only thing I added. That and all these buttons, I guess, to put links in the chat. Cool. Let's kick things off. Oh, damn it. I had Unity muted again. Why do I keep doing this to myself? Every week. Same thing.
Let's go!
Alright.
Let's go!
See, the problem is now I have like 30 buttons to press, and it's very hard to keep track of them. Alright, guys, take it away.
Hey, whoa.
Hey!
It's so lovely to be back here with you, Ichiro, on this week. And what a week it's been.
It has been an amazing week. Tell us about your week. You look radiant.
I have a lot of radiation pouring in on me. You may be referring to my extremely radiant monitor that I got, which I don't know if I can crank up the brightness anymore, but it's the new source of light in my life.
Yeah, so Ziba got this monitor, and apparently it is banned in the state of California for being a known carcinogen.
Here we go. Let me crank up some of the brightness. This is the light source in my room right now.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was one of those sort of mental breakdown purchase items of like, I need to control something in my life. So
Are you sure you're not having like a midlife crisis? Because I had one of those a couple of years ago, and it was rough.
I'm 4 months from 40. it's a big round number, and I'm gonna make all sorts of terrible decisions or something. I don't know.
Oh, I want to tell you. So for everyone who is Trevor's age, Elliot's age, and I apologize for picking on Elliot so much. I should also be picking on Trevor more, but he's been gone. Is that like I think the midlife crisis for video game developers is 42. So you got a couple of years.
And what can I prepare? How can I prepare? And what mistakes did you make? What horrible things did you do?
That you can have me on BitShow in a couple of weeks, and I will tell you all about how to what it is like, how to mitigate it, how you can cry in your beer or whatever you're drinking, your cherry Coke and wine, and we'll laugh, we'll get teary, and then we'll go get over it, and and then die.
It's beautiful. It's terrible, sad, beautiful. How very human. I love it. Is that our banter? Have we bantered?
I don't know. It's like that's kind of sad banter. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy to see everybody. I'm happy to see the chat log where
I'm so happy to have them floating all around behind my head.
I know
here.
It is pretty amazing right
Really nice.
there. So nice. Like thank you to Chris for
making
that look amazing, and
so much less alone. Like any of them could just sort of swoop down and peck me in the back of the head at any time.
Although why are they behind us? Because are they like judging us?
Well, I didn't want them to be in front because then you couldn't see everybody. Right?
Yeah, they're cheating out for the show. I don't know. You'd have to keep spinning the camera around. Or he could, if Chris weren't lazy, he could animate us walking through the crowd, working it, like Donahue, or a much more up-to-date reference for a talk show host.
I was trying to help the chat by undeleting the messages.
And what's that about? What horrible things were they saying that they're all?
No, apparently it's to prevent spam. Sorry, it's
Oh, I just saw a keyword trigger there. Wow.
Yeah. All right, nice. Yeah, that was bit showboating. I guess we want to talk about is devlog first or after?
Let's talk about everybody else's. We've gone into Chris's fine work this week, but so many other people have done what I thought this week was particularly attractive work. I skimmed through
handsome work, one might
say. Chris put together most of the show, the slides.
Yeah.
So credit to him. But credit to me because I skimmed it and I thought it was attractive. So, what's up? What's up next?
Well, we got spell. Are we doing spell break? Congratulations to Team Proletariat for essentially it's coming out September 3rd, announced at Gamescom. Very
cool. I knew them when they were just wee little babies.
Yeah,
sharing office space in American Twine.
Yep. And now they're home during a global pandemic.
Yeah. Doing awesome stuff. All right, next up is it's all still drossing along. I love the. I don't know. This game feels specific, which is what you want in any kind of drama. It's someone who has a taste and a thing. They exactly know what they want this particular object to exist. And that's what I like about seeing this dross evolve. It's not like I'm wandering around. I just kind of want to make a game. It's like I want these bugs. I want this look. So that's why I enjoy seeing it go.
And worth noting, Saul asks a lot of questions in the Unity channel. So if you're a Unity expert or if you have Unity questions, that is the place to go. Go #Unity in the Boston Slack.
Gary can't help but try and answer every technical question because he knows more than most of us, and that we're his last hope. So he spends too much of his life energy answering those questions, I'm sure.
And if you have unreal questions, ask Ziba.
Oh God, only if they're about widgets.
Josh is up with 16-bit musical prototype. You have a pull quote here. I'm trying to figure out a way to keep the rhythm game part, hitting notes on the beat, more focused around the player character. A rhythm can easily get so complicated that the player focuses on the bottom part of the screen instead of where the action is happening, which is, a bunch of people being pelted with tomatoes.
Oh, John's anti-aliasing journey. Look at this.
I'm gonna this is great, but I'm gonna ding John. I don't think either of these approaches is correct. Like, what the heck? The circle, the perimeter should be stationary. It shouldn't be rotating as in the above thing. It shouldn't be doing this thing in the lower
What is your
thing.
investment in this? Why are you angry at the circle?
I love Alpha 1. I think it's like super amazing. And then like I want this circle to be great. And then Chris said Bresenham's algorithm, and neither of these is Bresenhaming.
All right. Well, I have confidence, John, having seen the rest of Alpha 1.
Well, the rest of Alpha 1's great. That's what
right.
I'm
That
saying.
he's gonna do what needs to be done to make sure this is really attractive.
All right. Well, he's dancing now, so fair enough.
What's this next thing, Ichiro? What madness is this?
Okay, so I try to keep Boston at the forefront of everybody's minds, and if you've been following the Boston Game Dev Slack, I put out a call to everybody to say, "Hey, tell Valve what you're doing." And this is sort of like an experiment in like an automated way to keep Boston. Well, I already said relevant, so I'm going to say it again: relevant in the eyes of the platform. So what I did was I said, "Hey, everybody, can you answer this mock interview that Google Form asks?" And I created a little Python script that slurped that up and turned it into a 20 game magazine. And I sent that over to the Steam team over at Valve and said, "Hey, why don't you, since you can't come in person to Boston because you're a bunch of scaredy cats and are afraid to die of pandemic, why don't you talk to us over vid chat?" And so Molly and possibly Tom and Alden and all the folks we know and love from the Steam team will hopefully have a chat with us, sort of like a virtual town hall, the way they do it in person sometimes.
It's always weird to see that large companies are run by real humans.
Yeah, they're real. Valve's nice.
Yeah. Thanks for putting that together, Ichiro. It was real nice of you.
Even
if they look at it, even if maybe it gets lost in the email and they don't see it, I think it was a nice exercise.
Wow. Why are you going so negative? You're turning 40.
No,
and you're
what I'm trying to say is that even at a baseline,
yeah,
it's a good exercise for us to do to articulate ourselves and group ourselves together like that. It's good.
My email to Valve said that there are certain, you come virtually for the virtual food, come virtually for the virtual fall colors, and I gave them some hex codes for colors in the autumn, the autumn leaves. And of course, Alden, who is on the Steam team, is also a designer. So he knew that my red was incredibly red and commented on asking if Boston were on fire like California. So they have senses of humor. They're good.
Incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
Next, we got Jason Todd's Hexical, working on some new environments. I think there's some nice like subtleties going on here. You got the light, the hex grid that the characters, the player object or ship is on, lighting up as you move around. Some nice subtleties are those little things that you can spend forever putting into games and just incrementally add to the feel. So I look forward to seeing this grow more. He's clearly working on a path of like attention to detail. So
yeah, and he has a 2 of 2 thing here. He's talking about the utility. If you're, I haven't played with it. It looks neat.
What?
Slide number 2. I have a tool that I can use to draw the tiles models and define normals for each triangle. And then I render it to a texture, and a final tool combines it into a single texture image. So we get to a little bit about the behind the scenes as well.
Nice. And that's what's going on in our community this last week. At least that got shared in the devlog. Please go ahead and share your stuff in the future so we can pat you on the back and show you off to everybody else. Good stuff. Yeah, which reminds me that after our guests, speaking of the community coming together and do stuff, we had our jam last week. And
how did our jam last week go? Because I specifically missed it to take care of.
I'm not going to tell you until the end of the show when we do that segment.
Hands up if you've played it already, because it's pretty good. But
that's the drama. All right.
Yeah, fair enough.
Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that near the end of our show here. But now it's time for a little segment I like to call the pre-scripted introduction to today's guests. Today's guests are a dynamic team of 2 with the technical breadth of well more than 2. And what is it they're working on? Is it Unity, Unreal, web stuff, databases, augmented reality, robots? And could it be 2 topics particularly close to my heart, slot machines and turtles? Please welcome Tom Farro and Kelly Zhang.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
I don't know if we have applause sound effects.
Well, we will. We will now.
Like a please clap sign in the Unity scene that we got for BitShow.
So one thing that that's really interesting, I find, is that a lot of the most amazing game developers that we have in Boston are from WPI. That's my alma mater. So Tom and Kelly,
right? Well,
I know, right? Are both, and Graham is from.
We got a WPI tag in the.
Yeah, we should.
In the chat.
Yep, none of those MIT folk. Forget about. Sorry, Trevor.
Yeah, it's a weird coincidence. Definitely some correlation going on there between game development and WPI.
So, but y'all are both done in an immediate sense with WPI, and now you're calling yourselves the Sunshine Committee. What is the Sunshine Committee?
It's a dumb name we came up with during college. I don't know if there's any more meaning to it.
Didn't you tell me a story about how somebody commented?
Oh, okay. So I think the actual etymology of the name is back when I used to work retail during college. I would be very, very chipper because I had very few shifts because I was a full-time student. So unlike everybody else who had already been fully beaten by the capitalist machine, I'd show up to my shifts very eager in the morning to do my stuff, clock out, get a little spending money, pay off student loans. And so I think my coworkers probably sarcastically referred to me as the Sunshine Committee when I walked in. And so that's now the name of our team because it seems like a good name. And it goes great on baseball tees. So
you have baseball tees with that? Because
we keep talking about ordering them, and then the world stops having events, so we have no cause to wear them. But yeah.
So every time someone asks you what's your company, what's Sunshine Committee, you have to explain that it's a sarcastic response to being less beaten down by the capitalist system than the average person.
Basically, yeah. I think I ended our pre-interview yesterday with the phrase "There's no ethical consumption under capitalism."
And I wrote that down. Yes.
Right? So,
wow.
Because.
But as a high level for the team, we focus on what we call, and I think this is a phrase that is also used for the Boston Indies overall, whenever I've seen you guys have a booth, artisanal handcrafted video games. I'm not sure who adopted that phrase first.
That must be Chris. That sounds like a Amerism.
A very good name.
It's great though, but it's like the Etsy of video games. You make stuff that's really, hopefully small scale, that doesn't have a broad marketability or anything. It's just a fun craft. So that's the slogan.
That hopefully doesn't have a broad marketability.
Well, because they're sellouts. They got day jobs. They don't. They're
as if there were a danger one could accidentally make. Anyway,
it's we have the luxury of being able to make stuff that doesn't have to be marketable, right? That's
nice.
The greatest asset that any hobbyist has is that you're not banking your entire livelihood on an idea that you personally really like,
which allows you to be creative. Exactly. As in the case of who is Coco.
Oh, so I don't know. I can't see the stream right now. Chris promised that the website would be up, but Coco is our beloved tortoise who is currently eating really loudly right behind us.
Coco's on screen.
Yeah, Coco's on 3 screens. Okay, that's how much Chris loves Coco.
So for folks following along at home, you can go to http://tort.zone. And that is the website we built as a replacement baby monitor for our beloved baby tortoise. That's our most recent project. And it's fun. I guess that might be the next set of questions. But Coco is our tortoise. She's 3 or 6 or something like that.
We don't know.
Nobody knows. And she's a ball of sunshine.
So I am you're a tortoise owner, which
I am.
As you explained to me, all tortoises are turtles.
Yes.
I am a turtle owner, not a tortoise owner. So I'm going to go off on I guess if I'm really getting the deep probing question here that I have for myself, that I'm wondering if you have an answer to, that probably only you or I care about, is how do you know if it loves you?
I think they don't, is the thing. And you have to accept that.
Is there any sort of emotional response I should ever be able to read off of my pet turtle?
Don't think so.
Don't think so.
They really do just have the lizard brain is the thing. They're really primitive.
Why do we have pet turtles?
Because human beings are really good at projecting empathy onto things that aren't human beings. It's the same reason we fall in love with our devices, why we love video games. You get an emotional bond to your car. It's the same thing.
I think it's also because, whenever we walk over to Coco, she comes to us, not because she likes us, but she knows that we
Wait a second. How do you know that she doesn't like you?
Well,
Because like I'm like, what if Kelly? What if she likes you an awful lot, and you're like, to heck with your emotions?
No, if she does, then that's great.
Okay.
But I don't know if
I'm caught up on the fact that Coco comes to you.
Yeah.
yes.
Coco, 15 years, and my turtle still runs from me.
Oh.
I like how that was very
worst
knowing.
person in the world
Both
now.
Kelly and Tom were like, "Oh, that, yeah." Like
We'll be right
that's
back
a-
after this, commercial. Technical difficulties. The show is canceled. Okay. I mean, I just don't think they're really capable of it. Not to be super dark, but like they do have the really primitive lizard brains. So, but the fact of the matter is, human beings are really good at loving things that can't or don't love them back. So,
like my mom.
one of our greatest strengths as a species, that we are able to form an emotional connection that's not reciprocal. So,
I think this is a perfect time to read what I've written down here as the next question, which was use the fact that tortoises eat plants to segue to their augmented reality.
No, you're supposed to.
about
You're
plants.
supposed to do that. You're not supposed to read it. You're supposed to.
Yeah,
act that
but
out.
I
I'm
didn't
sure
think it was going to be any more successful just trying to ad lib that.
Okay, fair enough.
Straightforward. So, yeah, you were telling me you spent a while putting succulents in your turtle's tank,
yeah.
and it ignored them for a long time. Does that have any? And then you made a game about AR plants. I tried it, Share. That segue just doesn't work.
Yeah, so the timeline on that's a little backwards. We started the plant project, garden, for those of you who don't know, which I'm assuming is most people. We have a little pet project in Unity for smartphones called Garden.
Emphasis on the AR part?
Yeah, it's an augmented reality little plant care app.
It's a like pirate simulator. Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
It's a little mobile app that we've been working on since like 2018 in our extremely part-time capability of working on games. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, where it's like it doesn't have to have broad marketability. It's a fun project. We don't have to stake our livelihoods on this. It's really nice. It's a thing that you probably wouldn't see otherwise. It's really slow goings because it's very technical art intensive, rather.
And we are two programmers.
Yeah, we're both like primarily computer science.
But don't you think that programmers make the best art? I mean, like let's talk serious stuff, because I don't think Luigi is in the chat. Do artists like Luigi Guattieri, one half of Pop Cannibal, really make a difference?
I've been thinking of shopping some of my own drawings around, see if I can just
because you drew your background, and I think that's
wait, but I think we've done you a disservice by not pointing out that you were that Garden isn't just a little thing you've tinkered around with. It was the indie category winner at Mass Digi Game Challenge 18.
Yeah.
So what was it like to compete and participate in Mass Digi?
Mass Digi is great. If I've got the moment for a platform, which I do right now because I've got a captive audience, I recommend anybody who's still in school in the area to definitely try and compete. Even if you're not in the area, you should still try and compete. For a more high-level concept or overview of what that is, the great people at Becker do a competition once a year. I think it's only once a year. I don't think they do it twice a year at this point. Once a year, where basically you can submit a project that you've been working on at any phase in development. You put together a slide deck about business aspects of it, like what's the demographic, how are you planning to market this, what stage of development are you, what more would you need to complete this. You give a high-level elevator pitch to a panel of actual industry people. This can be anyone from like professors of game development, other developers, marketing team people. You get really good feedback from that, and they do a tribunal, and they say who has the most tangible pitch that they like the most based on whatever categories. Even if you lose and you come dead last, which I don't think they really rank beyond the top couple, it's really good to meet other people who may or may not be in the area. It's really good to get feedback from actual people and let other people actually touch your game. The other part of it is while you're not giving your presentation, you have a booth set up as though we're like, PAX or something. People can just come by and interact with whatever you have. If you just have a slide deck, you can give them the pitch. If you have a demo, that's great. Anything I'm missing on that?
Yeah, so one of our artists we actually met at the Mass Digi Game Challenge.
Oh, no kidding. Who's that?
Their name is Megan McAvoy. They're from Burlington, Vermont, and they were the overall winner for that year. They had an educational game called Keeper that was about beekeeping and the importance of being good stewards to bees that won both the People's Choice category and I think the overall victory category. They had a really big team too. That is mostly still to get together today as the nonprofit Rad Magpie, who I will also plug for. They do like an incubator program up in Vermont. So that's Rad Magpie, like the bird, if you want to look them up on your own time.
Yeah, they're really cool. They were also at BFIG this year, I think.
But that goes into, again, even if you're not local, I would say it's a good idea to enter the competition. They came all the way down from Burlington, Vermont, just for that contest. They ended up winning, which is really good. And they talked about how much they liked meeting other local people because they'd never come to an event like that before. So it's fun.
So Chris has been swapping between Coco and Garden on the on the Twitch stream. So if you're taking a look at that, folks in the audience, Coco is up right now.
Yeah, we woke her up for a midnight dinner.
Yep.
So she's eating.
Thank you. And like we'll be interviewing her a little bit later.
I can pull her. She's literally sitting right behind me. If you want me to grab her, I can.
Like my mind is still blown that you woke her up for her dinner are two things I cannot control my turtle. I cannot, if the turtle doesn't want to be awake or
you didn't even know what you missexed your turtle for 12 years though. So I feel like maybe that's
see, we only did that for like a month and then we realized she was a girl.
Yeah.
So, it happens.
The vet told us.
The vet told us, yeah. It's very common. Don't feel bad.
I feel like there was a little judgment in there. Ziba, it's quite common. Your problem, like you, is quite common.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry about that.
Anyway.
No. So it's exciting. You're in your turtle adventure. You're doing your AR work and you're messing with technology broadly. What are you both up to now? Especially things that maybe people could check out or that you're going to check out. What are you doing? What are you up to right now?
So, I mean, there's, as is being piped through on the stream right now, our most recent project is our beloved website, tort.zone. That was a replacement baby monitor because we wanted to be able to check on Coco when we were away from the house for a long period of time. But every baby monitor on the market today is an Internet of Things piece of shit, where it's like constantly recording audio and video to the cloud, kind of like an Alexa or whatever. And we didn't really need that because our baby can't make any noise. Like fundamentally, she doesn't have vocal cords. So we decided to build our own. And we're like, we've got these fancy degrees from this tech school. We should be able to do it.
Yep.
So we got a little Raspberry Pi. We got an IR camera. We figured out how to make it stream to a remote server so that it has really low network traffic.
Yep. We built the back end and then the front end for it.
Yeah. And so now if you guys go to tort.zone, you can go to the webcam portion of that. It's a 24-hour live stream of our tortoise, who's eating right now, as you can see. There's a great guest book that's completely curation free because you just type in emoji.
We did not want to moderate this guest book, so
well, and that's reasonable. But you can tell a good story through it. I think
it's a challenge, though.
Yeah.
You know? I think you keep leaving ones about like beer because Coco's a really heavy drinker. But it's cute. It's like an art wall, I think. We want to add more stuff like UV and temperature sensors, but the components we got from Sparkfruit were like bad. Adafruit, sorry. Sparkfun, Adafruit.
Yep.
They kind of were fried, or maybe we fried them, and we didn't bother getting new ones. But that will be the next hardware task, is getting this to have like a complete dashboard and do some data viz stuff.
Yeah.
I love that the Sunshine Committee's understandable but particularly overt distaste of capitalism extended to, instead of pitching yourselves, your own Twitters or your business at the end of the show, you just doubled down on your Turtles webcam.
Well, because that's a lovely art project. I mean, I think that's stuff we need more of that shit in the world.
It's also like the most tangible thing we've got right now. Like Garden is still many moons from done. We've got like a Twitter and a website, and I post stuff on there sometimes when I've got the time. But you can go to this Tortoise website right now, and you can watch Coco all day, all week. That's tangible. You can take that home.
That's wonderful. I guess what I was snarkily saying was that we like you too, also as humans, and perhaps maybe I don't know if you care about your Twitters or just Are you gonna be hanging out on the Slack? Can we?
Yeah, I'm on the Slack. I don't know if Kelly is too much.
Not super frequently, though I should.
Yeah, you've now guilted our guests into being on the Slack 12% more.
I didn't know I was supposed to make business cards for this virtual event. Let me go get my Rolodex.
Well, you can visit our website and look at our very not recent blog posts.
Yeah, it's sunshinecommittee.io is our website, and that's got blog posts and dev posts and stuff. That's probably the best way to stay in touch with us. It's got all our contact information too, personal and company. So
lovely. All right. Well, I appreciate both of you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And I'll be hitting you up for turtle tips.
Please do.
And they're also fun. Like I love interacting with them on Twitter. They're kind of like sunshiny, if you will.
That's what we need these days. Capitalism-free sunshine.
I'm with you on that one.
Hold on. Before you guys cut me off, taking the tort.
Whoa! And then if you can look on the Bit Show stage,
you see
it'll be like a minute.
That's funny. We see Coco in two places.
Quantum tortoise.
Wait a minute. What's that mean about the delay on the
I don't know, man.
I think.
Is there two turtles?
What is the delay on your turtle cam?
There's like a minute of latency.
Okay.
There we go.
With what you can do.
Way to pan right.
Oh no! Coco's gone. Oh no! What happened? A giant hand came down and grabbed her.
This is exciting programming. Yeah,
love it.
All right.
Thank you. So I will put you back now, baby.
Thank you for getting up at your midnight.
Yeah, this is honestly way past her bedtime. Yeah. Usually we have her lamp go at like 6:30, but today she's a special star.
So my last question about that. I know we need to go, but like, do turtles get grumpy when you disrupt their schedules?
They're always grumpy, but yes, they're extremely averse to change, like more so than any human being you've ever met, if you can imagine that.
I have a 22-month-old. I challenge accepted.
It might be close. It's challenging. But I imagine there's a lot of overlap between a 22-year-old child and a tortoise in terms of a lot of things.
She eats a lot of lettuce.
Yeah, but this one's going to be like a 22-month-old for like the next 60 years. So
long after I'm gone.
I'll be right back.
Thank you. All right. Thanks. Thank you once again, our guests, for coming on. I don't know if we can get a Twitch clap and a shot of our the audience clapping.
Yeah, Chris has got us covered.
Ooh. Message deleted by moderator. Message deleted by moderator.
I know, we're seeing all those messages. Like,
beautiful. All right, I just want to take a moment before we end the show to go over the jam that we did last week, because I was very, very pleased with the turnout, with people's spirits, and how it came out.
Yeah. So before you go into it, I mean, for those who weren't here and unfamiliar, basically every 7 years, Boston does a 1-hour game jam, where roles are assigned randomly, and then the theme is assigned randomly. Basically, you do it for an hour, and then you end up with a game. Yeah.
We wanted to do something that was more important, that we were doing something together than doing something. The outcome was great. So it was about taking people who were normally just maybe just chatting in Slack, shooting the shit, and for one glorious hour, being a team on something that we pretended briefly was important. So we rolled the dice on the theme and came up with 3 words, which was potential huge poem. And it was Kate O'Gean, former guest, who landed the role. We randomized the roles, and she was a lead designer, and quickly and confidently came up with this potential huge poem, this idea where words are falling from the sky, and each one is potentially part of a huge poem. And so you just click on the ones you want and end up with a poem. The credits are on the side there. I'm going to blank and not shout out everybody, but our guest that day, Matt, was a beautiful producer, which is a weird thing to be a producer of strangers who are making a project that may or not really matter, but to give the right just amount of push on people. Luigi got an AI to make some soothing sounds and then narrated his voice over it.
That's right.
The link should go out in the chat. I highly recommend you check out this game. John Bellini did the only art, which is the background of the pyramid, which I grabbed and put in the Git, and then as soon as he saw it, he was very emotionally upset that clearly I'd grabbed the one with the light coming from the wrong angle. His son was like, no,
These
that's
artistes.
the wrong angle.
That's fine. He just compared it to he called it the Ponfar of game jams, which I'm like, wow, that's a good reference. I love it.
That's a Star Trek reference?
That is a Star Trek. It's basically where Vulcans get all hot and heavy once every like 7 years.
Yeah, that's about it. That's what we did.
Yeah.
But absolutely, people, do yourselves a favor. Click on the link. Just takes a few seconds to experience the joy, what it is. And it really is, look at it in the context of it was people, some of whom have never interacted with each other, period, coming together. It was a team of like 13 of us, rolling the dice, deciding what we do, how we do it, putting it together. Oh, shout out to Rohit, of course. Ro did a fantastic job as senior programmer and couldn't put it down, put in an extra half hour at the end, or mostly just...
My God, it went over budget. Who is the documentarian this time?
Well, the documentarian, we had Pat, did a lot of interviews, which was great. I'm going to call it up to me, and you had Ezra as the video editor. But the way we just structured things time-wise, like when the interviews were done and the recording was done, we didn't really budget any time for making everything else. So next time we got to figure out maybe more of a pipeline of like...
You're going to be almost 50 next time.
Maybe we'll do it before 7 years, because I enjoyed it. I think people enjoyed it. I'm really proud of what we came up with. Yeah, we should submit it to Indiecade. So,
we've gotten in with weirder.
So yeah, thanks again to everybody who humored us and participated in that. I thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah, go look out for everybody. I didn't mention the credits are on that page, so check it out. That is our show. We have awesome, excellent, great stuff next week. There seems to be no stopping Chris with his with his madness. I'm just watching the keywords roll in on there. Thank you. Chiro,
Yeah.
Closing thoughts.
Well, thank you to Kelly and Tom. It was a pleasure to chat with you.
Anytime.
Yeah, thank you.
And Ziba and Chris, my colleagues at colleagues at arms, colleagues at large, doing so much great work for BitShow. Thank you.
Good work.
That's all I got. I got no wisdom.
Thanks. Back to you, Chris.
All right, and that's going to do it for this week. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you have ideas for wacky stuff you want to see in here, drop them in the Meetup feedback channel on the slack.bostongamedev.com. Nothing too disruptive, please. Like, we still want to have good conversations with our guests, so I'm not going to have... like a BAFTA thing would be a little too much if they started ringing out of the sky. I'm going to control that. It's going to happen like at most twice in a show. Also, no like audio triggers or anything, because that's also too distracting. But, let's have some fun. Let's get weird, throw some ideas out there, and that's going to do it. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next week.
Don't worry. Everything will be...
Let's go!